Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Daniel Roman here for winteriscoming.net, and today I'm so excited to be speaking with Glen Mazzara, executive producer of MGM Plus's new science fiction television series Beacon 23. Glen, thanks so much for taking some time out today to talk about the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So I wanted to ask, you've worked on a lot of different projects like The Walking Dead
hmm
and The Shield. What was it that drew you to Beacon 23?
What drew me to Beacon 23 is, first of all, I was a fan of Hugh Howey's work. Okay, I had read Wool and knew he was a terrific writer. I was friendly with Zach Penn, who created the show, and I loved his approach. First when I first read the material, to me it played as a thriller in space. That was something I
Yeah.
hadn't seen before. Then it starts pushing into very surprising, you know, issues about AI, trauma, isolation, things that we had just dealt with during the pandemic, let's say. And
Yeah.
and I felt that there was a concerted effort to stay away from usual tropes, sci-fi tropes that we're all aware of, that kind of stuff. So the show was just a challenge as far as, you really, it was incredibly collaborative. It was just very surprising to work on. The story was always surprising. And we just really kind of pushed ourselves to be as fresh as possible in this setting. So this was really creatively, I would honestly say this was the most creative experience I've had in my entire career, just because
Wow.
I never knew what was coming next, and just kind of, so when I was editing episodes or writing future episodes or working with the actors, whatever, it was just about, I was able to surprise myself. I think other people were able to surprise themselves, and it was exciting. There was something different about this show than other shows I've worked on. Other shows, other shows you work on, you get a sense of what the show is. With this show, it's like you're a character on the beacon trying to figure out what's going on, and I promise it all comes together. There's a story. I know how genre fans are. They want what they want. I get it.
Yeah.
I've written for them before, but this one was just a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun.
Cool. That always sounds like it's a good thing if you're working on it and you can get so immersed that it's surprising you. Um,
hmm
so you mentioned you're a fan of Hugh Howey. Obviously, so Beacon 23 is based on a book of five serialized pieces of short fiction that he wrote.
hmm
I
hmm
was curious, how involved has Hugh been with the series and what has working with him been like?
Well, he you know, has read all the scripts. He's been to set. We've had conversations, and when we talk about, when he and I spoke about what is the show, what
Hmm.
is the show that he would like to see? What was the show that I would like to do? That kind of stuff. We were completely in sync.
Oh, that's
You know what I
awesome.
mean? And there was one particular episode that, I won't say which one, but as soon as I saw it, and I was really happy with the director's cut, I said, Send that over to Hugh. That's the show." I think I emailed him and everything. So I'm happy to say, I hope he's happy with where the show ended up and all of that. But I do feel that, we were able to honor his intent.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so exciting. Um, you have a lot of really brilliant actors working on this show too. I love seeing Lena
hmm
Headey kind of getting back into her Connor Chronicles era a little bit. It's been a while since she's
hmm
been in a sci-fi show. What was the process like of casting for the show in general, but specifically finding the leads. So Lena and Stephan James to helm the show.
Stephan James.
Stephan, thank you.
They were cast before I signed on. They were already cast, and I think people were excited about seeing Lena, who obviously we all know from Game of Thrones, and she's playing Cersei and playing playing royalty and kind of buttoned down, and here she's playing something completely different. And we see her tattoos, and we see her look, and she gets to do a lot of different stuff. So I was very excited about that. You know what I mean? I was very excited
Yeah.
about working with her, and a lot of what we did in editing were just kind of give her the stage. There were certain scenes that she played that then, as we were talking about it, it generated more story. So a lot of it was catching up. A lot of the creative was catching up to her performance. Because she just owned that character and in such an exciting way. Same with Stephan. Stephan just brought so much to the character. Like, what I love about these characters is that they both have this swagger and this bravado, but there's so much trauma that they're carrying. So there's a deep inner life, but also they don't really know what they're doing. They are not. They it's kind of funny, when you see Stephan has post-its on how to run the thing. You're just like, oh, they're in trouble. They're going to drag each other. They're either going to save each other or they're going to drag each other down. So a lot of that was just those characters, and those actors, and I just think they did such a great job, and I was just very lucky to work with them.
Yeah. Oh man, you're getting me really excited to see more of the show. So I haven't seen all of it yet, but I'm guessing it's going to cover most of Hugh Howey's the pieces of short fiction that make up the book. So I was
it's not necessarily a dramatization of the book. I won't say that. It's the same setting, it's the same kind of characters, but one of the things that when you start adapting, the story for a TV show, things just take off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are differences there, but I will say that I do think the tone is the same. I do think the world is the same and all of that. But obviously, adapting a TV show poses its own challenges. So this is not a close adaptation of the book. I don't want to say that, but I will say that it's also not something that's inspired by the book. It's our version of it.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. That kind of dovetails into the next question I was going to ask. So I was wondering, how much of the book it covered, and hearing you talk about how it's its own take. It's not inspired by, but it is not sticking strictly to it. I was curious, provided this all goes well and people really enjoy it, if you had plans for, if you hope to see future seasons, just because the book it's a one standalone book. Do you guys have thoughts about where you'd like to see the series go?
Yeah, well, we were fortunate enough to shoot a second season. We were, we have that in the can, and I do have a plan for future seasons. I know I have a very tight plan for the next season, and I think this is a story that can go on. So even though the location is the lighthouse, as the show expands, you find out more about the universe around it and about the all the different players in that universe surrounding the lighthouse. And so this is a story that I think can go in a lot of different directions, but I have a future story for season 3, if we get there, that I'm very, very excited to tell. So I'm proud of the work that we've done, and this is a show that is tough to write and is tough to produce, but somehow and I give credit to Hugh and I give credit to Zach. It's such a well-conceived world
Mhm.
that it's easy as a writer to generate stories. You can say, what about this? What about this? Oh, this character said this. Let's go there, and we do that a little bit in the show, but I think it can expand. So I'm excited about it. I think there's more to this world that I personally want to see and would love to tell.
Yeah. Man, that is awesome that you have such far-reaching plans for this thing, that you guys have already shot a second season, which I did not know. Um,
Mhm.
that's really exciting. Um, so I think we're pushing time. So one last question for you. Keeping things spoiler-free, uh, what are you personally most excited for viewers to see in season 1 of Beacon 23?
You know what? I am most excited for the audience to experience the entire show and to be surprised along the way. I really feel the audience is not going to be able to guess where it's going. I believe that the audience is going to love getting the puzzle pieces
Mhm.
and be surprised, like, wait a minute, how can this possibly fit? What is this about? And it's a different type of storytelling. So it's not just that the story is interesting, but it's a different type of storytelling. It really is. And I think that's something that I haven't seen on other shows. I watch a lot of genre. I read a lot. I think we push the boundaries here of by trusting the audience.
Yeah.
This is not a show that we never sit and really explain anything to the audience. We are trusting the audience to follow the story, to put it together, and I promise the show all comes together. Okay. Sometimes
Yeah.
people could say, oh, I put the pieces together, that was dissatisfying. Okay. I understand that. We've all watched those types of shows.
Hmm.
But I really, this is a show that does not talk down to the audience. Yes, it's not a show it's a show that trusts the audience. And I think that, people are smart and people want kind of a fun, entertaining, yet sophisticated type of story. And I think this delivers. So I'm excited to see how that plays. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I do trust the audience, and hopefully they have a great experience enjoying the show.
Yeah. That I I'll just say personally, I love when shows trust the audience. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, is when shows over explain because they don't trust their audience
Yeah,
to pick up on stuff.
right.
So yeah, that sounds wonderful. Glen, thank you again so much for taking time to talk about Beacon
Thank you.
23 today.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great. Thank you so much.
absolutely. It's been a pleasure. And for all of you watching, you can tune into Beacon 23 on MGM Plus. The first 2 episodes drop November 12th, and then they drop one a week after that. And make sure to hit like and subscribe for more interviews and videos like this.